49% said no, 47% said yes. 50-50. I will not go back and forth with best offer on low value postcards. I'm not going to fight and go back and forth for 25 cents to get a sale. Welcome back to SMPostcards. This is a yearly thing I've been doing since I've been doing YouTube and reselling postcards. On the YouTube channel, every week I put out a poll on Saturdays, and it's just in the community channel, so if you're subscribed you'll see when it comes out. But even if you're not subscribed, you can go in and still look at it. But all the polls I've ever done are out there, and as you go through this, if you want to go back and look at them all, you can, and you want to participate. I got people participating on polls from a long time ago, and they come and ask questions about it. But what I do is I go and I take all the polls I did for the year and I call them best practices. I had to call them something, but this is what everybody's doing, and to me it is kind of a best practice on some of them. But I got 46 of them to go through here, and we're not going to go through every option on every poll. I'm just going to tell you what the title of the poll was. Maybe if I have an opinion about it or some comment, I'll say something, but then I'll give you what people, the highest option that they picked in the poll. Now remember, when you do polls on the channel and you don't leave a comment, nobody or even me knows what you pick. So you can go in and participate anonymously with that, but if you leave a comment, I know and everybody sees your username on it. But they come out every Saturday, so make sure you subscribe. You can get them, participate. We usually get 70 to 100 people in there, around 80, around there. So a good handful of people participate all the time, and I appreciate it. And it helps, basically what it does, it makes you think a little bit about what you're doing, and if everybody else is doing something different, so is it something you should do? That's what a best practice to me is. But before that, I just want to let you know, this is done also. This is a document I've been doing every year. I do it for myself. It's a spreadsheet I have, and it talks about sell-through rate. I walk through how I do sell-through rate that I talk about on the channels, but it's basically like this here is all the states. If I get this right, is all the states, and I just mark them down. I do the sold and listed right in eBay, and then I sort them all different ways. There's 27 pages of different stuff about different postcards, and I keep this right next to me all the time for a year, just so I can do a quick reference without doing the calculation and stuff like that. But that's in the Ko-Fi store. It's free. Now Ko-Fi says pay what you want. You can put 0 there, but if you want to donate to the channel, to Ko-Fi, for putting the document together, you can. It's always appreciated, but there's no limitation. I figure I'd do it for myself, so I just take screen prints and I put it into a PDF document, and you can download and print out or just have it with you. A lot of people find it interesting. A lot more red on this one and a lot lower volume on stuff than it was in the year before, is kind of what I noticed. I didn't do a full comparison on there, but that's out there. So go take a look at it, download it, and do what you want with it. But that's done for the year already. A little early, but I figured, hey, I can get it done. I had some time. I went ahead and got it done for 2025. It doesn't change that often, so I don't do it but once a year. So postcards are pretty static. The turn that boat is a little different. But let's go and get into all these best practices. So I'm going to read the title and talk a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you what they do. So the first poll was, on average, how many postcards do you list per day? We had 79 people participate. How many cards do you list per day? I had 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, and 31 plus. Top one, 37% said they list 1 to 10 postcards a day. So most people that participated out there only list up to 10 cards a day. Now if you do 10 cards a day times 7, that's 70 cards a week. It can add up. But if you really want to get into it, there's 11 to 12 million postcards out there. You gotta have a lot. I didn't see a real influx in sales, of consistent sales, until I had 5,000 to 6,000 postcards listed, and that will take a year. A person that does list a bunch every day, I mean, you're talking 100 or so cards, and really into this and really want to make it a go of it, 8,000 to 10,000 is probably what they can do a year without the brain going to mush. It takes a lot of time, but once you get to a certain level, things will start flowing in. If you have good prices, back yourself up, it'll get your reputation. It does take a while, but it will, from my experience, it'll just go after a while. No guarantees, but most people only list 1 to 10 postcards a day. Where do you stand? Next one is, how long do you wait to send offers on eBay? So if you go into your active listing, it says, or on your seller hub, it says send offers. I have automatic offers set up. When I go to send an offer, I unclick counter offer. I don't go back and forth with offers and stuff. Here's my offer, 10% off, and I click automatic. The other day I looked in there and it said like 8,000 automatic offers were sent. eBay gives you that little number in there. So I let eBay do that for me, and the ones that pop up for me, maybe whenever I see them, I send them. I don't wait, I don't schedule them, I don't try to be cryptic schedule about all of it. I just see it, I send it. You want to get the people when they're eager. So how long do you wait to send offers on eBay? Top 165%. I do not wait. I send as soon as I see them. Get it out there. They're ready to buy. Some people, I had other things I wait for a day to not seem desperate, 7%. But 65% I do not wait. I just send them when I see them. So that's the best practice. When listing postcards, what do you do when you list postcards? Do you watch YouTube, you watch a movie, listen to music? I just want to know what people do. I watch YouTube a lot, or I watch a movie. Or I'll bring some up on the TV because it's right over my desk here. 41% said they watch YouTube. SMPostcards. Do you run markdown sales on your postcards? That's where you can put a sale on, 10%, 20% off. Just a normal marketing thing. Everybody does it. It's nothing special. If you have a store, you have a markdown manager. Sometimes you train your people to wait till you put a sale on, stuff like that. 52% said no. So best practice, 52% said no. It's really 50-50. It just depends what you want to do with price. When buying a lot of postcards and the lots, so I wanted to know, when buying a lot of postcards, do you count every card, do a quick look, weigh them, never open the box for months? 71% said when they buy a big lot of postcards, quick look and approximate number is good enough. That's me. I can pretty well figure that out. I don't count every card. I'm not worried about losing 5 cents. In your reselling business, selling postcards and stuff, what is your highest priority? Packing, shipping, listing, sourcing? 51% said listing. That's what they're going after. 27% said packing and shipping. To me, it's packing and shipping. That's the end of the transaction. Everything you did from sourcing, scanning, listing, and then you sold it. Those people want the cards. Get it out the door. That is my highest priority before anything else. But people are saying listing is their best practice. I just wanted to know. A lot of people talk about stamps to me. I don't know anything about stamps. I'm not against them. I just don't have the bandwidth to do everything. So I never got into stamps and stuff like that. People say, well, you're missing out on the back of postcards. Most stamp collectors I know that's been doing it for a long time said the stamps on postcards is like a lottery ticket. You're probably never going to find one. Plus, in condition, most of those stamps on back of postcards are like our forever stamps. That's what they told me. Do you collect stamps? 77% said no, that sell postcards. Another thing, like markdown sales on eBay. Do you use eBay coupons? Me, they're horrible. They don't do much for me. Never have. I got them in my newsletter, I think, and I got some for clubs that I've spoken with or did a presentation to. I'll give them percentage off and stuff like that. That's about the only coupons I have. 67% said no, that's all postcards. They do not use eBay coupons. This is always interesting. I gotta do another one. I gotta go out and see if I can find some of these photos. Do you put a ruler in your eBay photos to show the size of the postcard? In item specifics, you can pick the size of the postcard. It says standard or continental and right down there, and just put that in there. There's no reason to put a ruler in a thing. It takes up your time. Plus, if you're not using a scanner, you're missing out there also, because the ruler's not going to fit in a scanner. So there's no reason to put a ruler. Most people know what a postcard is. 92% said no. So if you're using a ruler to show the size, don't worry about it. Everybody knows. And don't put it on your dirty carpet. One of the videos I did, I found it there. Do you use the word vintage in your titles? 55% no. I don't get into keyword stuffing. It's not my thing. It is a thing out there. People tend to believe into it. I just don't. I like to tell a story on there. I don't put rare. I don't put vintage. I don't put damage. I just put what the card is to let eBay know what this is and let the customer know what this is. It's Abraham Lincoln in the Supreme Court. Not damaged, not vintage. Most postcards nowadays are vintage, so there's no reason to put it on there. 55% said no. How many times have you called eBay in the last 6 months? There's some resellers are just constantly fighting with eBay about feedback, returns, and you go look at their store, look at their user account, they got, 10, 12 negative feedbacks in 6 months and stuff. They're selling stuff that is causing that. They need to look at what they're doing. They're selling stuff that gets that type of thing. Toys I didn't have a lot with. Postcards definitely I don't have a lot of returns. I don't call it eBay maybe 2-3 times a year. 69% of the people says I never call them. So if you're spending a lot of time on refunds, returns, and fighting with eBay, PayPal, or payments and stuff like that, customers, you might want to take a look at what you're doing, because that's money out the door. How do you prepare your eBay shipping labels? Do you use a thermal printer, print, cut, and tape, handwritten? Buy postage at the post office? I hope not. That's zero, so let me just tell you that no one's doing that. 68% said they have a thermal printer. You can get thermal printers for under $100. I got a backup one, I got my Rollo. They're all the same pretty much. As long as they work with eBay, it says they're fine. But thermal printers and thermal thing works. I have a Widget Wednesday video on that. So 68% said use thermal printers. If you're handwriting or printing and cutting the tape out, you're losing money. Your competitors are not doing that. What is the largest postcard order you have had from one buyer? 2 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. Mine, I didn't really have a big one in 2024 that I can remember. But I think the biggest, 120 pops into my head. I think it was one guy looking for a certain publisher, and he went through and he picked all these cards out. It was 120. Just think, it takes you a minute to pull those. That's 2 hours of pulling postcards, 120 minutes. So the bigger orders can cause more work, but at least you're moving postcards. 57% said the highest they've ever, largest postcard order was 2 to 10 cards. Have you ever filed a claim for lost or damaged postcards using eBay standard envelope? 69% said no. If you're using eBay standard envelope and your postcard was lost or damaged in the mail, definitely figure out a process to use it. But you need to look into eBay standard envelope, because there is mail problems and stuff like that, and you will lose it, and they do give you the insurance. I've never had one not approved if I filled it out. 69% said no, leaving money on the table. Do you offer best offer on postcards listed at $5 or less? 49% said no, 47% said yes. 50-50. I will not go back and forth with best offer on low value postcards. I'm not going to fight and go back and forth for 25 cents to get a sale, or 50 cents, even $1. It's not worth it to me. And they can go buy it from somebody else. It's just, I don't want to be on my phone all day to move, because you're paying people to buy stuff. I don't get into all these little add-on things for eBay and stuff like that. Larger items, I'm not stupid. If I have a Halloween card for 75, I might have best offer, or someone made an offer for 60. Yeah, I'll sell it, but not on the lower price stuff. There's no room. If you have an eBay store, how many followers do you have? So people have asked me, how do I get followers and stuff? I'm probably not the best to look at with having a YouTube channel and stuff. People follow my store just to watch what I sell. It's wide open. You can go out and look what I sell and what prices, whatever. But I wanted to know what most people have. I do track it. I put it down once a month just to see the trend. It doesn't go up that fast. I hold at 1,100 to 1,200 followers. And that helps you with newsletters and eBay and stuff like that. 63% said they have 1 to 100. That's where everybody pretty well stands. When a buyer buys multiple items, this is if they buy multiple items, do you refund the shipping and stuff? 60% said they always send a refund discount on combined shipping. So if you pack 10 things together and they paid shipping on every one, Some people don't even refund them unless they asked. Then they get a negative about not combining or whatever, and they argue about that. I always refunded shipping when I did packages for toys. If they bought 20 toys and it was $100 shipping and it only cost me $30, they got $70 back. I don't look to make money in shipping, but 60% of the people, yes, when they combine it. Now, if you do free shipping like I do and offer volume discounts, you don't have to deal with that, because they ask for a combined shipping discount. Hey, it's free shipping and I have volume discounts. Shuts it down right there. I haven't combined shipping on stuff. I don't know how long that conversation. When you sell $4 to $6 postcard and a buyer wants to return for refund, do you request? 59% of the people said they request the buyer send the postcard back before refunding. For a $4 to $6 postcard, how do they send it back to you? I don't get many refunds. So if someone bought a $4 card, $4.75, $4.95 postcard from me, and they didn't like it, a lot of times I'll just tell them to keep it, because I don't have many at all. So, and I'm not a martyr for eBay. I'm not hurting anything. It's just like, keep the card. I paid a penny for it. I'm not out. I'm not going to go back and forth with people about a $4 postcard. But 59% said they asked for them to send back. I'd like to know how they get them sent back to them. Have you ever found a valuable stamp on a postcard? 80% said no. That's about what the stamp people tell me. Do you care about the eBay algorithm? 2024, God, it was algorithm this and fight this, do this, do that, do this, making stuff up, all these metrics and stuff. 65% said they're tired of the noise about it. Quit trying to trick eBay. Sell your stuff first. And then you need to understand it and know it's there, but that's not going to be how you run your business long term. It's not sustainable by the next new thing. There's not one thing that you can do in eBay, from pictures all the way down to titles and stuff, that's going to take you from 5 cards to 50 cards a day. It's more about reputation, good pricing, back your stuff up, and give a good presentation. Not all that stuff in envelopes and all the tape and all this other stuff, putting cards in there and doing all, all that stuff is nice. It's just a piece of the puzzle, but there's not one thing out there. So I tell people, just get that out of their head right away. All these little hacks will get you some sales right away, but it's not sustainable. To me, that's my opinion. And people need to come up with some new stuff. All we hear about is just rehashing the same old thing. Good pictures, do all this stuff. Tell me something new. So, but 65% are tired of listening to it. Do you sell both postcards and non-postcards in your store? 80% said yes. To me, there is no reason to have 2 different stores. eBay does not, in my eyes, I've not ever seen any data that shows that if I have 2 different stores, 2 different stuff, I'm going to sell more stuff. It's just extra expense, extra management. It's just task saturation. You don't want. Do you use eBay time away feature when going away on vacation? 79% said yes. I have never found anything wrong with time away. People before it was vacation used to cry and scream about the way it worked, and then went and they fixed it, and now people are still saying that that drops their sales. Of course, when you're on away, you're not listing stuff and managing your store, you're probably not going to give the attention you want and stuff like that, but I've always never had a problem with it. 79% of the people use that for vacation. Do you use eBay AI descriptions in your listings? 72% said no, they suck. They're horrible. They just take it from my own specifics. What type of postcard do you sell most of? Chrome, linen, white border, divided back? 41% said divided back and undivided back. It really depends on what you list. What do you do with postcard albums? People ask me all the time. I get an album with postcards in it. Do you break them up and sell cards individually? 89% said yes. Only 1% do not break them up. If you put a year in the title of your postcard, do you use the postmark, the year manufactured, based on clues from the postcard, or you don't put years in the postcard? 74% said they use the postmark. That is a good common sense thing to use. It's common practice out there, as the postmark gets you into the, you don't have to get to the exact date and stuff like that. It's the eras. But postmark thing, to me, postmarks tell me one thing for sure: that card was made before it was postmarked. It has to be physics. But most people use postmarks to help date postcards. Common practice. Do you correct names of cities or towns that are misspelled on postcards? 51% said no, they use what's on the card. I'm not the English teacher. I'm not going to get my red pen out and chastise people because they said something wrong or they said have the name on the card wrong. I get untactful messages sometimes from, oh, it should be spelled this way and that's wrong, you need to fix that. Do you avoid listing duplicate postcards when you have a large inventory of cards? So if you have a 5,000 postcards up, do you check every time before you list a card that it's not listed? 65% said no, too many to look through, exactly. And then 26% said they check it every time. That's a lot of work. Just list it. There's no reason, to me, in my eyes, to do that. Do you use eBay shipping policies? That's in business policies in your account. 78% said yes. If you're not using them, I'll have a Widget Wednesday video coming up on those. And I'll show you exactly what I have set up. Very simple. I think I got 2 or 3 of them. That's it, policies. It takes care of everything. And you don't have to go through and change each listing. 78% said yes, they use them. What is your handling time for mailing out postcards? What's your shipping time? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? 64% of the postcard resellers that participated out of 105 people said 1 day. So basically next day. If you're not shipping 1 or 2 days, your competitors are. Do you offer free returns? 75% said yes. I've always done free returns. It just puts it on a big billboard that says I back up everything I sell. And I got it out to 60 days or whatever the longest. I don't fight with refunds in there. So 75% people said yes. I put this question out a couple times a year. It can cause, not confusion. People come at me sometimes when I bring this question up once in a while. Do you list postcards using a phone, a computer, or both computer and phone? 74% said computer. It's 2 screens, easy to do, big keyboard. To type on a phone, I don't care what they say, it's still too long. Do you use an accounting program to manage your business? People ask me that always every year. 89% said no, they don't. Most of the people said they use a spreadsheet, and that's what I use now. Are you an eBay top-rated seller? Before eBay standard envelope, when we had stamps on a label, there was no way you could become a top-rated seller because you had no tracking updated or scanned. There was no tracking. Now with the eBay standard envelope, every postcard seller out there that was not before that was selling postcards should be a top-rated seller. If you're not, you're doing something wrong. 87% of the people said yes. Do you sell mostly using auctions or buy it now? 94% of the people say buy it now. Do you store standard and continental cards in a separate box? 51% said yes. How many hours a week do you spend on listing postcards? If you're part-time, full-time, it really depends, but I wanted to see what the average people participated in the poll said they work 2 to 5 hours a week. Do you have a budget for your reselling business? A budget is a set number that you want to do every year. You set your budget on your expenses, your sales, and your profit. Basically, those are the 3 minimal things. What you want to do for the year. Or you just want to be the top one and just keep racing to the top or racing to the bottom. Do you have a set thing, or are you just a very low-level hobbyist seller who really don't care to manage the numbers? Me, if you're running it as a business, and you're paying taxes and stuff, you need to have a budget so you figure out what you're going to do. Even a household should have a budget so you know if you're spending too much on stuff. If you're not, then it's hard to manage a business without. I don't know how people do it without. Some people are successful doing it. Me, I have a budget. 57% said no. Do you prefer posted or unposted postcards? 66% of the people said they like posted postcards. Do you send out eBay newsletters? Do you use the eBay feature they offer in stores of sending out a newsletter to your people? 88% said no. Go out and check it out. It takes care of itself. Very easy to set up. Have you shipped the wrong postcard to a buyer? If you've been doing postcards, you've probably done this. If you haven't done it yet, you will. It's just part of I did it with toys. 50% said no. You probably will, but some people are pretty good at it. They might not never do it, but I've done it a couple times. What is your main reason for reselling postcards? Make a profit, as a hobby, or to clear out personal collections? 75% is to make money. And if you don't have a budget, how much money do you want to make? And if you're not tracking yourself on a spreadsheet or how to do it, how do you know that you're making a profit? How do you price your postcards on eBay? 75% says based on similar listings, comping. How do you source postcards for reselling? 46% said online marketplaces and thrift stores. The second one was estate sale and auctions. What is the biggest challenge in reselling postcards? What is your biggest challenge in reselling postcards? Finding valuable postcards is what 69% of the 86 people that participated said. The other one, the next one, was competing with other sellers and then managing shipping and handling logistics. Remember, the more you sell, the more you have to manage your shipping and all that other stuff. But the biggest challenge they have is finding valuable postcards. And the last one, how often do you update your eBay listings for postcards? This is when they say go in and adjust your pictures, adjust your title, the price. Just touch it and save it and kind of review your listings. 43% said monthly or less frequently. I would probably tend to say less frequently as you get larger. Me, set and forget. It's in there, let it go. I sell out of all the boxes. Yeah, my older ones tend not to sell as often, but I pull down, every month I'm pulling down a lot of random boxes, and they will sell. But 43% said there. Some people said, 23% said daily. That's a lot of work. Me, I don't see why you have to do it so often. It's always good to go back and recheck things and stuff like that. But that's the best practices. Real fast, to the point. These are just polls. I call them best practices. I had to come up with a name for it. Figured that's what it is. But you can check them out in the community tab in the SM Postcards channel. They go back from when I started it. There's a lot of them out there and a lot of good information and stuff like that. And I tend to keep doing these. I'll probably reuse some of the other ones I had before, but if there's any polls you want to do, if you got any outstanding questions and stuff you want me to put out there, send it in with some of your choices. I might reword it to make it flow the way I do. They've been pretty fun to watch, and I've learned a lot from them on there. But thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting SM Postcards throughout the years. Check out the Ko-Fi store. It helps the channel. Subscribe is one of the biggest free things you can do for the channel. It lets YouTube know more stuff out there. And the more people we get in here, the more people will give us an opinion on how they do things. And once in a while, we get that major nugget that just says, aha moment in your head, a light bulb, why was I doing that? Or why haven't I been doing that? That's what this is all about, is to share our knowledge. Like-minded people enjoying reselling postcards and collecting them. Thanks for watching. I'll stick selling here coming up this year too.